I'm really nervous. I can't even form a thought. Oh my god, like what? This is a Wattpad, guys. This is literally a Wattpad. Disgusting. Disgusting. You're your own walking red flag at this point, girl. I can't help you, I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying not to cringe, but I just can't help it. It's just ridiculous, it's wild. This book is so crazy. This is just stupid, like at this point. It's just like, just dumb. Ah! Guys! Okay. So, what we're doing here today is I'm going to be reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, because I keep seeing ads that a movie version of this book is coming out, and I fear that many people are going to be going feral about it, and I know that I'm not going to be one of them. I have stayed far away from Colleen Hoover ever since I heard about her books, and I just want to put in a disclaimer right here, right now. I am not doing this to like intentionally bash things that people like. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. I just know the style of books that I personally prefer to read, and I've heard enough about Colleen Hoover books to know that her writing style is not for me. I've heard a lot of things about this book that give me pause. So if you like Colleen Hoover, obviously I don't think you would have clicked on this video in the first place, but I suggest that you click off. I don't foresee that what I have to say about this book is going to be things that are nice. Essentially, I am reading It Ends With Us, so you don't have to. So take this as a full spoiler reading vlog. So if you plan on reading this book, click off right now, because I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna be sharing my entire experience, explaining the plot as I go, being confused, being upset, and all of that right here with you, okay? So get your popcorn, get a drink, alcoholic if you must, and let's enjoy It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. So I am sitting on a mattress on the floor and we are gonna start reading this book. Okay, fine. Here I am, I guess. I guess let's just get into the book, because there's nothing left to do at this point, and I'm just delaying the inevitable. So please enjoy my very up and down reactions to It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Okay, let's just go. We're already off to a horrible start. The first line of the book. I'm just gonna right here say, check the trigger warnings for this book. I will insert them on the screen right now, but at least what I know about this book is that there is domestic violence, possibly SA, and the first line of the book is, as I sit here with one foot on either side of the ledge, looking down from 12 stories above the streets of Boston, I can't help but think about suicide. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, to set the scene, essentially, we have this girl, her name is Lily. She just eulogized her father at his funeral in Maine, and she said she came straight back to Boston and up the first roof she could find, just because it's so peaceful up on rooftops. So anyways, she's up on this rooftop, sitting on the ledge, one foot dangling over the side of the building, one foot dangling on the roof area, and this guy comes out and starts beating up a lawn chair. Just like, literally just beating the shit out of a lawn chair that's like up on the the roof. And then he turns around and sees her and is like, can you please get off the roof? Okay. One thing already is that I don't really like the way that she explains things when she's writing. Like right here, his gaze is narrow and his mouth is drawn tight, like a male version of the Mona Lisa. What's your name? He asks. I feel his voice in my stomach. That's not good. Voices should stop at the ears, but sometimes, not very often at all actually, a voice will penetrate past my ears and reverberate straight through my body. He has one of those voices, deep, confident, and a little bit like butter. Okay. Something about that just did not freaking sit right with me. And then, so he sees her on the thing. He goes, please get down. What does he say? You are a mere 3 inches from falling to your death. I've been around enough of that for one day. I'm sorry. I would never say that out loud. Personally. Anyways, let's keep going. I'm sorry. What? She literally... Every time she explains anything about this guy, it's always like, he's so intimidating, or like, I've never seen eyes so dark, but maybe I have. He's just something about him, and la la la, whatever. She's like asking him questions because she really likes his voice. And then he just goes, what floor do you live on? I've never noticed you before. And then she goes, oh, that's because I don't live here. You see that insurance building over there? I live in the building right next to it. It's only 3 stories. Girl, you literally just told this man what building you live in. Like, you literally just told him what building you live in. And like, I understand that like if he was your neighbor, he would have already known what building you live in. The fact that he isn't and you just gave him your exact building? Did no one teach you stranger danger? Okay. Okay, let's keep reading. I don't know. I really hate to say this, but it's just giving really strong pick-me energy. But like, I should have already known that about a Colleen Hoover book, because honestly, that's just the vibes that I get from her books, you know, from what I've heard about them, so. He's a neurosurgeon? Crazy. Okay. So they get to talking, they're having a little conversation, and she's like, oh yeah, I've been here for 2 years, and he's like, I've been here for 2 months, I'm in residency, whatever. And she was like, oh, do you want to know something about Boston that like only the locals know? And then like tells him a fact and is like, it's one of the great mysteries of Boston. He laughs and then looks at me inquisitively. What's another great mystery of Boston? Your name. He smiles. It's Ryle. Ryle Kincaid. I sigh, sinking into myself. That's a really great name. Why do you sound sad about it? Because I'd give anything for a great name. You don't like the name Lily? I tilt my head and cock an eyebrow. My last name is Bloom. He's quiet. I can feel him trying to hold back his pity. I know, it's awful. Unfortunately for me, I say. But what makes it even worse is that I absolutely love gardening. I love flowers, plants, growing things. It's my passion. It always has been my dream to open a florist shop. But I'm afraid if I did, people would think my desire wasn't authentic. They would think I was trying to capitalize off my name and that being a florist isn't really my dream job. Oh my god, like what? And then he goes, what's your middle name, Lily Bloom? I groan, which makes him perk up. You mean it gets worse? I drop my head in my hands and nod. Rose, I shake my head. Worse. Violet, I wish. I cringe and then mutter, Blossom. I feel like I'm just reading you guys the book at this point, but it's just so shocking. I also really hope that you guys are appreciating my acting skills in this, because this is a cold read right now. I just want you to... Sorry, I can't take myself seriously, but I feel like it's really adding something to the experience. Don't you agree? Yeah, and now they're just gonna talk about the dead dad for a minute. Okay. We're only 4% into this book and there's already so much like trauma porn. It's crazy. They just had a conversation and apparently Lily's dad was abusive to Lily's mom, and apparently Ryle today in the operating room, because he's a neurosurgeon, in case you forgot, just operated on a young boy, and there was 2 brothers. One of them got a hold of a gun and accidentally shot the other brother, and the brother that was shot didn't make it, and Ryle had to experience that on his table in the OR. And we're 4% into the book. This is a Wattpad, guys. This is literally a Wattpad. So basically, they're playing this game where it's like, just say something, like say a naked truth, something that's kind of fucked up that like you don't really say out loud or whatever. You heard about oh, my dad was abusive, he just died. And then she told a story about how she gave a eulogy, but she didn't say anything about her dad. She went, hi, like, let me just share 5 things about my dad, and then didn't say anything for 2 minutes, and that was her eulogy. And then she goes, tell me the most recent thought you've had that most people wouldn't say out loud. He pulls his hands up behind his head and looks me straight in the eye. I want to fuck you. He shoots me a look of innocence. You asked for the most recent thought, so I gave it to you. You're beautiful. I'm a guy. If you were into one-night stands, I would take you downstairs to my bedroom and I would fuck you. Like, this is what we're talking about when we say that Colleen Hoover is not, like, I don't know. I really am speechless. I am also speechless now at this point. I want to read a book so that I forget how men are. This just feels like a freaking Wattpad. And I'm glad, in a way, I'm glad, because I really thought that I was being mean going into this book, being like, I really don't think I'm gonna like it, like, I don't think I'm gonna like the reading style, like, having actually no evidence or any basis on which to stay and stand on that point. But no, my predictions were correct. I definitely am not into her writing style. If this is chapter 1, I promise I will do less frequent updates once the plot starts picking up. I'm just truly flabbergasted right now. I can't lie. I'm flabbergasted. Okay, time jump. It's 6 months later, and she bought a store front. It used to be a restaurant. There's like a bunch of dusty tables and chairs in there. And she's in there with her mom, and her mom's like, oh, yeah, just, you know, make sure it works. Be brave and bold, Lily. And then this woman walks in and goes, oh, there's a help wanted sign outside. And she was like, I didn't put up a help wanted sign. And then after like a couple minutes of talking, the mom leaves, and like, this girl who's named Alyssa is just like, oh, like, don't worry, I don't really need a job. Like, I don't need to be paid or anything. I just, like, want something to do, because she's, like, already rich or whatever. It's like, okay, just bought the place an hour ago, and some random rich lady walks in and goes, I really like to design stuff, and I have nothing to do, so I would just do this for free. Like, I don't care. Okay, that's already crazy. And then she's like, you know, what's the concept gonna be for the flower shop? And Lily's like, I don't know, like, let's do something really edgy, and like, whatever you think about flowers, let's do the exact opposite. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever, like, be different, we like that, like, have a niche, you know, that's fine. But the thing that really got me, as someone who has worked in a flower shop before, Lily goes, there are floral shops on every corner for people who love flowers. But what floral shop caters to all of the people who hate flowers? The last time I checked, people that hate flowers don't go into floral shops. Like, it just feels like a satire of itself. The plot is fine. I just have no idea where it's gonna go. I just know that it's not gonna be good. I think it's gonna be really dark. I know that it's like literary fiction or like women's fiction or whatever. I know it's not actually a romance. But I'm scared. You know how I just said it wasn't a romance? The tropes are still there. And the believability of this book is so low, in my opinion. So they're fixing up the old, abandoned, basically restaurant, whatever. They're going into the office, taking out the vegetable crates, and she tries to stack them up too high and falls down and twists her ankle or something. Alyssa, her husband and her brother are at a bar, like down the street, and she calls and is like, can you guys bring ice? I'm with my boss and she broke her ankle. And the husband's like, what, boss? You don't have a job? Because she just like got herself hired. And Ryle is Alyssa's brother. So Alyssa's husband is rich, her brother is Ryle, and now they're here at Lily's place of work. New floral shop. Remember when I said, why did you tell that stranger what building you lived in? Guess what? He showed up at her door. He goes, do you have any idea how many doors I've knocked on to find you? I shake my head because I don't. But now that he mentions it, how in the hell does he know where I live? And then he goes, you never told me which apartment was yours. You said you lived in this building, and I couldn't remember if you said which floor. Wow. This is really... So he basically walks in and goes, these next couple of months are the most important months of my career. But for the past week, I haven't been able to get you out of my head, and I don't know why. At work, at home, all I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. Please make it stop just once. That's all it'll take, I swear. So basically, he's just coming up to be like, hey, like, can we just sleep together so that I can get you out of my head? Let's see what happens. Let's see where this takes us, because I don't think it's going to be good. Can I just read you one more excerpt? You say this will make it stop, but I'm warning you right now, Ryle. I'm like a drug. If you have sex with me tonight, it's only going to make things worse for you. But once is all you're getting. I refuse to become one of the many girls you used to, how did you word it that night? Satisfy your needs. He leans back on his elbows. You aren't that kind of girl, Lily, and I'm not the kind of guy who needs someone more than once. We have nothing to worry about. Disgusting. Disgusting. I don't know. She keeps being like, you know, maybe it's good that we didn't, because I feel like if we did, then maybe it would be really bad. Girl, listen to your gut. I think you're probably right, bestie. I fear that this is not a good choice for you. and your future happiness. So, and also they just opened the flower store and he's the first customer, of course. Of course he is. Of course he is. Guys, he came into the store and bought flowers for a girl, and she was like, why am I jealous right now? And the sister was like, oh, don't worry, just like write the address on the card and do a little message, whatever you want. And on the card he wrote, make it stop, and then put the address of the floral shop on the card. And the sister was like, haha, he's so stupid, he put the address of the floral shop, what is he talking about, this is so dumb. Guess what the flowers were? They were lilies. He sent Lily some lilies. How crazy is that? That's like the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Wow. Ryle just bought me flowers. And not just any flower. He bought me a bouquet of lilies. Not the getting Lily some lilies trope right now. Seriously. I'm sickened. I'm sickened. Can you just say that one more time?
The question was, if there was a girl named Lily and I had a crush on her and she worked at a flower shop and I walked in there, what would I do? I'd buy her anything but lilies.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Good job. You passed the test. Okay, everyone. I'm on chapter 7. I'm 21% into the book. I'm gonna try to read this as fast as I humanly can. If I'm being completely honest, about 5 seconds ago in the kitchen, I told Ray if this book gets very much worse, I'm gonna have to start drinking. Okay, the thing is, the storyline is like fine. It feels like a teenager wrote it, which is whatever. I've read enough books that are angsty and like along this vein that I understand. I get it. I've experienced this before. Like I'm not new. I've been around the block, okay? I read Wattpad. I get it. But at the same time, it just feels so stereotypical. Like it just feels so, this is the mold for like an angsty book. And like maybe she's the first that like really did it and like broke out and like was able to publish in a major way. Good for her, whatever. Everything about it just feels really like stereotypical, and it's not like comedic, like laughing at itself kind of thing, like other romance books that I read. Not saying this is a romance. It's just so stereotypical, and that it just feels a little cringy because of that. So those are my thoughts. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. For now, all I'm drinking is water. We'll see if that changes. Out in the living room, so I had to come in here to say some thoughts. This man is a walking red flag, for one. Just get that out of the way. Essentially, Lily was like, okay, like she was invited to Alyssa's birthday party, and Ryle lives there too because they own the entire top floor. And then now they're in his room kissing, and she's like, wait, what the hell is going on? Like, put me down. Like, what's happening? This is like, you haven't even told me what's going on in your head, because the first time we met, you literally told me, like, I'm too selfish to be in a relationship, whatever. He's a walking red flag is what I'm telling you. And now this man is giving us a whole speech being like, how do I prove myself to you, Lily? Just tell me, I'll do it. She said, don't have sex with me. Okay. Well, good for her, first of all, for sticking up for herself and having boundaries. We love a girl with boundaries, but we hate a man that's a walking red flag. Do not like him. Do not trust him. And I know that we're only 25% into the book, but obviously this is not gonna go well. This is not gonna go well because we all know the girl that just wants to find her perfect man and the walking red flag, toxic ass, horrible piece of shit dude that just comes in and sweeps her off her feet and like makes her forget for a little while. I don't want young people to read this book and be like, oh, like, you can change a man, like he'll change for you if he loves you enough. Like, no, this is creepy behavior. I do not like him at all. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now and I'm gonna read a little bit before bed because the totally fucked part about all of this is that the plot is actually kind of interesting because I want to find out what happens next. Like, I'm intrigued enough in the story that I'm like, okay, but like, what's he gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? So anyways, I'm gonna keep reading and I will update you guys tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Hello everyone, good morning. I'm back. I am 47% of the way through the book somehow. And I just wanted to update you guys on what I read last night, just so that we're a bit up to date with what's going on in the plot. So if I remember correctly, she started rereading some of these diaries about Atlas and like that from her past, essentially. And her and Ryle decided to start a little trial relationship. After the party, they decided to do the trial run, whatever. Then he just was like trying to come over all the time and they were hanging out a lot. And then she was getting a text from her mom who was meeting her for dinner, and then he was like, oh, is there room for one more? And she was like, we aren't even officially dating yet. I don't even know what to introduce you as, like, and you want to meet my mom? Like, in her head, she was like, that's kind of weird. So they went to this fancy restaurant in Boston, and guess who the waiter is? It's Atlas. And she was like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was like 15 or 16 or whatever, he was like, oh, I have to move to Boston now, because remember, he was essentially homeless. He wasn't living with his parents because his mom or stepdad kicked him out, essentially. So he was living in the abandoned house next to her house. They started getting into a little relationship, but not really. Basically, Atlas is her first love. Like, Atlas is her first love. She lost her virginity to him, and she got a tattoo on her neck of something that he like carved for her out of wood, and she put it in the spot that he always kissed whenever they like hung out or whatever after school. So essentially, all of that backstory and drama, Atlas was at the restaurant. So I don't really know what's gonna happen, because I don't know if she's gonna reconnect with Atlas or if something's gonna happen with Ryle. I do not trust Ryle, obviously. He is not good news. Even his sister thinks that he's crazy and toxic. So it's not great. But then, now catching you up to speed, she's like, oh, I'm so happy, best day ever. That same day, they went to a bar and got some drinks. Alyssa was like, sorry guys, I can't drink. And then her husband turns to her and goes, you're pregnant? And yeah, so she was like, oh my gosh, my best friend is pregnant, like all this stuff. Literally the whole time up until now, she's been super sus of Ryle. She's like, I don't know, he always breaks girls' hearts. Like, I don't want to see this happen to my best friend, whatever. And now the second that she's pregnant, she's like, I hope he marries you so that we can all be a big family together. And I was like, girl, is everything okay? Weren't you just saying that you don't trust him and now everything's fine? Now everything is just fine. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't know. So anyways, now you're caught up. That was so chaotic. And I'm gonna keep reading and see what happens, because I really just want to finish this book today. So let's get back to reading, I guess. Okay, this might be a totally crazy thing to say. Bear with me. I don't know if this is a totally wrong prediction, but this is a spoiler reading vlog, so it doesn't matter. They used to have an older brother, Alyssa and Ryle. Elisa? I don't know how it's pronounced, whatever. They call her Issa, so I'm assuming it's Elisa. Whatever. Elisa and Ryle used to have an older brother. We just found out his name was Emerson. What if Ryle was part of the reason why he's dead? Because they said he died when they were young. I have a sneaky suspicion that he has something to do with his brother's death, but that's just me. That's just me guessing. He already is a walking red flag. Might as well add slightly culpable for his brother's murder on there, right? Death? His brother's death. I don't want to say murder, because that's crazy, but is it? I'm almost halfway through the book already. Well, at least it's going fast, y'all. Oh. Wow. To be fair, this one scene pretty much, I mean, luckily I don't have any experience with this, but it feels like it just kind of sums up, you know, abusive relationships in a few pages, because she's drinking wine, he came out of the shower, she had a couple more glasses while he was in there, she forgot about the casserole that she was cooking, so it was burning. Essentially, he opened the thing and it was burning, and he went in there and grabbed it. But like, have you ever cooked anything in your life? You don't just go into an oven and grab something. Like, even if it's burning, I would have been like, oh shit, grab something to grab it. And he opened it and tried to take it out without the pot holder, and because it was hot as fuck, he dropped it on the floor and it shattered everywhere. So his hand is burned, and he has a really important surgery on Monday, so he freaks out, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is so crazy. Like, I've had too much wine, I'm feeling a little tipsy. Like, why did he grab it without getting a pot holder or like a little oven mitt or whatever? So she laughed, and the next thing she knows, she's on the floor, like holding her eye because he pushed her, and she hit her head on the cabinet and fell on the floor. And it was immediately like a moment of like, what the hell just happened? And he was like, it's not funny, Lily, this is, my hand is my career, like whatever. And she's like, oh my God, he did not just do that. And then he like starts saying, I'm sorry, it was an accident, I'm so sorry, like I'm trying to get him off me. So she pushes him, and then he falls and gets his hand in the glass now. And she was like, oh shit, like, because now she feels bad because she's like, his surgery Monday, whatever. And she's like, or your hand, are you okay? And he's like, don't worry about my hand, are you okay? So now she's like, his entire career depends on his hand, so it has to say something that he's not even worried about it, right? I'm so confused. There's so much happening. The smoke, the wine, the broken glass, the food splattered everywhere, the blood, the anger, the apologies. It's too much. And then she says, he's not like my father. He can't be. He's nothing like that uncaring bastard. I don't know. It's so wild. Because this is not a very complicated situation. He shoved her when he was upset. That is like red flag, as red as it gets. Clearly he has anger issues. His sister is low-key a little bit afraid of him. This should say a lot. I could really understand why certain people are drawn to this book, because the plot is good enough, but like I was saying, it still kind of feels like a caricature of itself. This is a very interesting study of a book. You know what I mean? Oh no, I just made the font bigger so you could see. They said I love you to each other. Of course, after all that crazy shit happened. For the first time, they said I love you. Alright. Alright then. Okay. Where did I even leave off? The restaurant, remember? Where Atlas worked? Turns out he's the head chef, so that's great. They all went to dinner there, and obviously the events from the previous couple of days were quite obvious, because Ryle had his hand wrapped up, she had the cut right next to her eye, and Atlas came to deliver a dessert because he's the chef and was just like helping out, and he saw the cut on her eye, the wrapped hand, looked back at the cut on her eye, and just was like, and walked away. And then Lily's like, gotta go to the bathroom, bye. So she goes to the bathroom and Atlas follows her in basically and is like, are you okay? What happened? She's like, oh, it was an accident, like nothing happened. And he's like, you sound like your mom. And she was like, oh, okay, well, fuck you for that, I guess. And then she leaves the bathroom and locks eyes with Ryle. And then Atlas comes out right afterwards. And Ryle's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening? And she's like, I don't even know what to say. I'm flabbergasted. And then they start beating each other up. They start beating each other up. And, yeah. Then the next day, Atlas comes into her flower shop and gives her a present. And it's Ellen's book signed. And it says, Atlas says to keep swimming. Ellen DeGeneres. So, what a full circle moment. And now she's about to read the last entry in her diary about Atlas, where I'm pretty sure the dad finds out about them and beats the shit out of him. So let's see what happens, I guess. This book is so fucking insane. I'm gonna read the last journal entry now with Lily. I will say, when it comes to like your first love and like the feelings that you have for your first love and like how all encompassing it feels, this book does a really good job of describing that. Or at least in my personal experience, like I relate to a lot of the things that she's writing as a like 16, 15-year-old. So I will give credit where credit's due. From my personal experience, this feels very relatable when she's talking about her first love. So he's leaving for the military earlier than he thought, and he's gonna be gone for 4 years. And then they kind of made a promise to each other of like, we'll find each other, hopefully. Like, if our lives are better, we'll come back together, but don't wait for each other. But the whole thing is that it's, like, in Boston. Okay. So, yeah. They had sex, obviously. And then she forgot to lock the door, and the dad came in because he heard her talking to someone and saw him and beat the shit out of him with a baseball bat so bad that he had to go to the hospital. And then she never heard from him again. I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Okay. Let's recap. We're in part 2 now. There's been a 6-month time jump. Lily and Elisa were having a conversation about like babies and marriage because Elisa is due soon. She was saying how, oh, I can't wait till you and Ryle get married and you have kids, and she was like, I don't know, like, I don't know if Ryle wants kids. We haven't really talked about it. Like, we haven't really talked about marriage either. It was like the cheesiest moment ever because she was like, well, I'd marry Ryle if he proposed. Of course I would. I'd marry him tomorrow. And then it was like he's standing right there, isn't he? Like, judging by the look on your face, he's standing right behind me. He heard the whole thing. Like, okay, I'm so done with that. I'm so done with he's standing right behind me, isn't he? Like, please. Can we please be done with that? Please, can we never, ever say that again in a book, ever? Or in a movie or anything, ever again, please? Thanks. Anyway, so they go to Vegas. They all catch a flight to Vegas and they get married. So now they're married. Ryle lives with her in her apartment. He's like slowly moved in with her over the past however many months. They've literally only been together for 6 months. And she's 23. And they're now married. Okay, fine. Whatever. You barely know this man. And 6 months ago, well, I guess a year and 6 months ago, because that's when you first met him, he said that he never wants to get married, never wants to have kids, all this red flag bullshit. Continues to be a red flag, in my opinion. I don't know if I mentioned that Atlas came by to visit the shop the day after the fight, which was now a while ago, I guess, and put his number in Lily's phone, like on a post-it note in the back of the phone. Ryle, while Lily was taking a shower, was like doing something with the phone, whatever, apparently drops the phone. Apparently the phone case pops off, because that always happens. Never in my life has that happened. And he saw the post-it note that was in the phone case, and he calls the number, and he was like, "You're lucky it went to voicemail." And he throws her phone against the wall, and it shatters and breaks. She follows him out of the apartment and tries to stop him on the stairs, and he like shoves her off of him, and she falls down the stairs, and he brings her up there because she literally has passed out, might have a concussion, is trying to sew her back up because he's a neurosurgeon, whatever. And she's like, "Fuck you, get out of my house, get out of my house right now, get out of my house." And I'm like, okay, good for you. And then the next day she was like, "The fact that you didn't even let me explain and you just went off on me like that, bro, what the hell?" So she goes into work, and Elisa's like, "I don't know what happened. This looks fucked in my opinion, but you should let Ryle explain something about what's happened." And apparently I was right. And I don't know if I mentioned that the first night that they met, he was very upset because he was dealing with this boy that accidentally killed his older brother, and the brother died. But apparently that's exactly what he did to his older brother, Emerson. So I was right. I was right that he had a hand in accidentally murdering his brother. He had a hand in his death. What a fucking surprise. What a fucking surprise. Do you see how surprised I am? Anyways, this shit's crazy. I'm gonna keep reading. Also, I kind of just want to get the story over with. I kind of just want to find out what happens. Like, I feel like someone's gonna die. Like, this is not gonna end well. I don't know if she's gonna go back to Atlas. I don't know if she's gonna stay. Now she's married to him. I was like, girl, please, why? She's 23, has been dating this almost 30-year-old man for 6 months, and they got married in Vegas? You're your own walking red flag at this point, girl. I can't help you. I'm sorry. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. One thing that is really devastating, though, actually, is how much you are in the perspective of a person that has had an abusive father and has experienced that with her own family dynamic growing up, and is now essentially in an abusive relationship because she is married to this man who is extremely explosive and has major anger issues and like jealousy and rage, and like just blacks out when he's that upset. And it really shows the nuance of how difficult it is to wrap your emotional head around that situation when you're in it. Like, it shows all of the gray area of like how it feels to be in one of those relationships. Okay, so he bought her an apartment in the same building that his sister lives in, which is fine, whatever. But this is what I mean when I say that this writing is just so stereotypical and cringy, because let me just read you like a few little excerpts from this page alone. "It overlooks the same view as the rooftop deck. We'll always have the same view we had from the night we met." Like, I'm trying not to cringe, but I just can't help it. No! Oh, no! So, two things. Ryle just got accepted to do a 3-month-long program in Cambridge, England. We'll put a pin in that because I'm sure that that will be concerning later on. And the second thing is that Elisa had her baby, and the way that this girl, Ryle goes, "Have you decided on a name yet?" "Yes," Alyssa says. Ryle and I both look at, I keep going between Alyssa and Elisa. I don't know. Ryle and I both look at Elisa, and she smiles, teary-eyed. "We wanted to name her after someone Marshall and I both think the world of. So we added an E to your name. We're calling her Riley." Baby girl, you could have just said Riley and we would have got the message, okay? We would have got it. I really can't take this book seriously. I genuinely cannot. Riley, Ryle after Ryle. What about Emma or something after Emerson, your older brother that's dead? How about that? Top 10 most disgusting ways to tell your partner you want to have kids. He kisses me on the side of my head and then rests his head against mine as we both look down at Riley. I think we should make one of these, he says. Jail. Okay, I'm 70% into this book and I'm so close. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I feel like it's just gonna get worse before it gets... I don't want to say better because I don't think it's gonna get better, but I think it's just gonna get worse. Please, Lily, do not have children with this man. I know this is all fake, but like... This is so bad. He went home after Alyssa and them had the baby. Lily said she was gonna stay for a little while longer. He goes back and there's this article in the fucking newspaper that's like, oh, Atlas Corrigan's restaurant is the #1 favorite pick in Boston. What a surprise, whatever. It's called Bibs, which stands for Better in Boston. And on her 16th birthday, Atlas gave Lily a magnet that said Boston, everything's better in Boston. And she's kept it all these years, so she put it on the fridge when they moved into this new apartment. And he saw the Better in Boston, saw the magnet Better in Boston, because also Atlas in the interview mentioned that it's kind of an homage to someone that meant a lot to him, still means a lot to him. Ryle went into the bedroom and looked through all of her old diaries. He read all of her diaries. And now he's going fucking crazy. Oh my God. Guys, I'm gonna fucking barf. She's pregnant, of course. Of course she is. Okay, pack it up. Do not have children with this man. He's a fucking psychopath. I mean, one thing is the book is doing a good job of representing domestic violence because, hoo boy, I feel sick. I don't think I ever explained, did I say that she called Atlas and got out of the house and he took her to the hospital? I don't know if I said that, but now she's staying at his house and she's pregnant. Horrible news, horrible news. Wow. Why did she marry him? Oh my God. I don't want to say that she's stupid because I know that this happens to people all the time, but like, I definitely a little bit judge people for getting married that fast to someone they barely know. Because they didn't even spend that much time together because they both worked all the time. Like, the time that they spent together, they were basically just having sex. She barely knew anything about his past. They were married before she found out that he literally killed his older brother. Like, for real? Okay, this might sound horrible and awful, but this is just how I feel. It pisses me off. This is why people hate the fucking pregnancy trope. Because people in books and movies act like abortions don't exist. I'm sorry to say. I am fully pro-choice. I am fully pro-fucking-choice. And the way that the people in these books and movies and shows act like abortions don't exist, like, if a horrible thing happens to them, they just have to fucking sit there and have the baby and take it. Girl, it is the 21st fucking century and you live in Massachusetts. You don't have to have this fucking kid. And I don't want to say ruin your life because, like, some people, horrible things happen to them and they have a kid and it's like a really positive thing that comes from the experience. But, like, if you have a child with this person, you are tied to him for the rest of your life, whether you like it or not. Your kid can't pick their parents. And you are complaining about your dad the whole fucking, every time you do a journal entry and how much you hate your dad. Why are you giving this kid the same experience? I'm not blaming you for what's happening. And I'm talking to you guys like you're the fictional character in this fake book that doesn't exist. You know, but like, do you know what I mean? This is why people hate the pregnancy trope, because it's so infuriating. I'm just, like, this book is making me so fucking angry. It's just annoying. It's just fucking annoying. I understand that there's a lot of nuance that goes on with, like, abusive relationships and domestic violence, and I actually feel like, in general, this book is doing a really good job of, like, showing all the nuances of that and, like, how confusing and emotional it is with all the different, like, roller coasters of emotion that are going on, because she's, like, experiencing such a wide range of things. But at the same time, I just want to shake both of them and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I get it. She's in love with him and it's hard, but, like, girl, you don't have to have this kid. Like, let's be fucking real. I don't know why you're pretending like you have to. And he's gonna follow you around and this kid for the rest of your fucking life. Like, do you really want that for your child? I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. So it's just ridiculous. It's wild. This book is so crazy. Of course, because it's a book. And because it wouldn't be a real pregnancy trope without it. She was already 12 weeks along when she found out, apparently. Which, if I'm doing my math correctly, that is already 3 months pregnant. Nearly into the second trimester. I feel so bad for this woman. I feel so bad for women all over the world that are in this position. People, anyone. I feel bad for the kids in this situation. I'm 84% into the book. I want to be done. Oh my fucking god. I don't know when the last time I updated you was. I think it was like 86% or something. We're at 94%. That entire time, it was just talking about the pregnancy. Oh, like, well, we'll see, like, if Ryle is gonna be part of the kid's life, and maybe he will. And then this about the pregnancy clothes and the thing, and the, I don't know what to... I was really not expecting this in this book, and I am not a fan. I just don't like it. I do not like it one fucking bit. And the thing that's even more annoying about this is that her water broke, and apparently she barely had time to get to the hospital before she's being told to push, which I know enough about childbirth to know that that's flagrantly inaccurate for the most part. I'm not going to say that in every situation your water breaks and then you still have to wait hours and hours for contractions to start up and blah 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 whatever, but like it literally seems like she breaks her water and then an hour later is like in the hospital having the baby. It's just not accurate, like, at all. And she had no contractions before. I hate stupid things that are just like so factually inaccurate. It literally takes me out of the book so much. This is just stupid. Like, at this point, it's just like just dumb. I fucking got it. The way that she doesn't know if she's gonna have a relationship with this man anymore, and he asks her, what are we gonna name her? And she goes, I'd like to name her after your sister, or maybe your brother. I'm not sure what he thinks of that. I personally think naming our I can't even fucking read right now. I personally think naming our daughter after his brother could be somewhat healing for him, but he may not see it that way. He glances over at me, not expecting that answer. Emerson, he says, that's kind of cute for a girl name. We could call her Emma or Emmy. Did I not say that before? It's too fucking easy to guess. I'm almost done with this book. I'm so fucking happy. I'm almost done. Oh my god. Girly Pop looks up at him minutes after giving birth as he's still holding the baby in his arms. She goes, I want a divorce. Minutes after giving birth, she's like, yeah, I want a divorce. Because she was like, let's just focus on one thing at a time, and then I'll decide like what I want to do about you, blah, 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 whatever. Good for you, girl. Good for you. You still somehow named your daughter after his dead older brother when you literally could have given her any other name in the world. After anyone else, even on your side of the family, and you chose to do that. But whatever. Good for you. I guess. And the very end is, cycles exist because they are excruciating to break. It takes an astronomical amount of pain and courage to disrupt a familiar pattern. Sometimes it seems easier to just keep running in the same familiar circles rather than facing the fear of jumping and possibly not landing on your feet. My mother went through it. I went through it. I'll be damned if I allow my daughter to go through it. I kiss her on the forehead and make her a promise. It stops here, with me and you. It ends with us. There we go, title drop, right at the end. Okay, there's a freaking epilogue. Let me just finish this and then I will share my final thoughts on this fucking book. Okay, everyone, I finished the book. I read through the epilogue and basically it was just her dropping her daughter off with Ryle and seeing Atlas and him being like, whenever you're ready. And she's like, I'm ready. So I guess they're gonna be in a relationship now. What do you think?
You seemed really upset reading this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
She was cursing to the heavens.
It just, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it. Anyways, my thoughts about this book. I feel like it wasn't as horrible plot-wise as everyone said it was going to be. Like, the plot was actually interesting enough to like keep me wanting to read it. Fair enough. Some of the plot points definitely were very basic. A lot of the lines were really basic, like the stuff that people were saying. I was just like cringing all the time. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna rate this book. I honestly don't want to because I was kind of just reading it as like an experiment. It's just so cliche. Like, there's so many cliches in this book. I don't know. I feel like I was just mad the whole time I was reading it. Mostly because like domestic violence is like really fucked, but also because this book was cliche as shit. I feel like in terms of a book about domestic violence, it sure did that. It did what it needed to do. And I feel like for people that have experienced it, it's probably really helpful and comforting to read a book like this, if I'm being completely honest. But at the same time, it was very frustrating to read for many different reasons. One of them being the fact that it was extremely cliche, and another one being the fact that I just wanted to strangle this man because he was just such a walking red flag. Oh, also the pregnancy trope. That was fucking awful. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was fucking awful. So I really don't know what I would rate this book. Maybe, honestly, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I kind of have a craving to rate it. Maybe a 2.5, because it wasn't the worst book I've ever read, but it made me so angry. And it was also super cliche. So yeah, I'm sticking with a 2.5. And that's all for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed watching me suffer a little bit and get really upset about words on a screen. Anyways, that's all. Let me know if there's other books that you would like me to read as a sacrificial lamb for all of you that don't want to read certain books. But yeah, okay, anyways, that's it. Let me stop talking. I will see you in the next one. Till then, I'm sending you all my love because we are all just trying our best out here, okay?